What's going on, guys? My name is Richard and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about FSLY Inc. or FSLY, which is my stock of the week. And as usual, we'll go through what this company actually does by visiting its website. Then we'll talk about the fundamentals in Marketsmith, so the earnings growth, sales growth, fund ownership, IBD ratings, all those important statistics. And then finally, we'll round off the video by talking about the technicals. And I'll discuss my failed trade of this stock where I got stopped out right before this huge run, and also where I'm looking to get in if it pulls back to key moving averages or develops another base. So with that said, let's go ahead and check out the website. All right, so FSLY is very similar to a couple other companies that I've featured on this channel, such as Net or Cloudflare, and basically they are a leader in edge computing, and they offer a couple key benefits for enterprises, such as reducing costs, increasing flexibility and control, and also increasing security. And as always, they seem well positioned to benefit from the transition to more and more online content for businesses. And going through their website, they offer a wide variety of services, such as all these platforms right here. And they operate in a wide variety of different industries, such as digital publishing, e-commerce, online video and audio, software as a service, travel and hospitality, and financial services. And all these industries are really pillars of the online experience, so I could really see FSLY thriving in the near future. And they work with a ton of mainstream businesses from WikiHow, Wired, Business Insider, Shopify, Wayfair, and scrolling through, there's tons of examples. Vimeo, I'm very familiar with. Fubo TV, I stream a lot of soccer, so I'm very familiar with that. Shazam. And there just seems to be a ton of different applications for their software. GitHub is a huge one. And in general, it seems like FSLY is everywhere and is still growing at a rapid pace. So that's kind of the overview of what the company actually does. And now let's talk the numbers and fundamentals in Marketsmith. All right, so looking at the chart in Marketsmith, the first thing I always do is go down here and check out the earnings and sales growth. And overall, you can see it's not yet profitable, but it does have very strong revenue growth, up 35%, 40%, and last quarter up 38% in terms of sales. Margins are negative, but they are getting better. And overall, looking at the annual EPS, you can see it is negative and not supposed to be profitable anytime soon, but it is trending in the right direction. And overall, the EPS rating is a 23, the group RS is an A+, the SMR rating is a D, the accumulation distribution is an A+, and the overall composite rating is a 94. And looking at the fund ownership, and you can see they updated it with the June 2020 data. There is a nice increasing trend, but you don't have any high quality funds from the IBD Mutual Fund Index in this stock. But if you actually go over to the fund ownership and take a look in here, which you can do for any stock in Marketsmith, there are a ton of A+ stocks in here, and you do have a couple Fidelity funds in here as well, which is always good to see. But that's pretty much it for the fund ownership. You can see a nice increasing trend, and checking out the chart, you can see the RS line is trending upwards, although there was a big drop today. I think it's down almost 8%, and overall you can see it's well extended from a proper buy point. And looking at the overall rating, you can see it's a 99, so very strong there. But at this time, it definitely is extended, and I'm looking for a pullback or the development of a new base. But overall, this stock has been one of the strongest this year. I believe it's up 370% in 2020, and it is one of the leading stocks in the leading groups. So now let's go ahead and talk about the technicals in TC2000. All right, so here is the chart in TC2000, and I think it's always helpful to take kind of a longer term view and see what the stock has done in the past. And you can see that it is a recent IPO. It IPO'd in 2019. Then it got knocked down for a few months, then had a nice run towards late August, and then set this high right here, this green line at 35.25. And then it entered its institutional due diligence phase, and then just ended that phase in early May on the 12th when it had a green line breakout on strong volume. And since then, it's been on a tear, up over 150%, up 154%, which is quite substantial. And it's been a very successful stock this year. And these arrows right here identify my attempted trade on this stock, and I actually did lose money on the top performing stock in 2020, which is sad but also remarkable at the same time. But anyway, I tried to use an entry setup of a green dot, which is also a breakout above this pivot right here. But it was kind of extended almost from the nice reversal right here. And I got stopped out on 2 different days on some of my shares on this day and then also on this day as well. And these 2 arrows right here indicate that I bought and then added onto that initial buy as it continued to prove itself and increase in price. And from this point on, when I got stopped out on my shares, it increased a cool 100%. So it definitely was a big miss. And this stock was actually one of the main reasons why I developed the shorter term stochastic cross, the teal dot, which if you want the code is right here. It basically is a 5-2 stochastic cross instead of a 10-4 stochastic cross. And this was because I realized that there's often a better entry right before the green dot appears. And on the 27th, let's actually go back to this day. This was a day where a lot of growth leaders got knocked down, but then closed strongly. And FSLY was no different. You can see it actually gapped down, went all the way down to almost the green line once again, but then it closed very strongly on the day. And this is a sign that institutions are accumulating this stock and are supporting it. And then the next day we had a shorter term stochastic cross, which would have been an optimal entry point and actually would have allowed me to have nice cushion before these down days later on in the next couple of weeks. And that is why it's always good to look back on your past trades and see what happened after you got stopped out and then try to develop rules that would have kept you in a big winner just like this one. So that was my attempted trade with FSLY. And now what's left to do is try to look for entry points because this has been on a tear and definitely needs some consolidation, which it could actually be starting today. And overall, I think it definitely is higher risk to enter on short-term consolidations like these 5 days right here. So ideally, I'm looking for a flat base, a cup and handle, a pullback to the 50-day SMA, a pullback to the 21 EMA, or another kind of constructive consolidation. The longer term the base, the more constructive it is, and the higher potential that it continues to move on in the future. So for me, I think this 1 day pullback isn't enough. I want to see at least a pullback to the 21 EMA, which is still quite a ways below, about 17%. So if we do have a minor correction in the NASDAQ, we could see a lot of constructive price movements in these leading names. And FSLY definitely is top of my list if we do get a nice consolidation pattern, a nice entry setup, and it starts to move up and prove itself once again. And just because FSLY has increased 370% this year doesn't mean that the move is over, because really it's just broken out from this longer term consolidation and started its institutional advance phase. And if you read the book, The Life Cycle Trade, you can see that a lot of these stocks, after these monster rallies, form a base and then break out once again and continue on with their move. So that's pretty much my analysis of FSLY. I'll be looking to buy if it pulls back nicely to the 21 EMA, ideally on lower volume, and then bounces from there. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and please remember to leave a like down below if you did, and subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll see you guys in future videos.